Here's my take. Poor Brian Kemp. He obviously didn't get the memo. When the governor of Georgia announced on Monday that he was going to begin opening up his state's economy, he must have assumed that President Trump would lavish him with praise. After all, just days earlier, the president had said publicly the country was starting our life again and indicated that some states were ready to open up. On Wednesday, Trump tweeted, "States are safely coming back. Our country is starting to open for business again." And yet, hours after that tweet, at his daily press conference, the president announced that he disagreed strongly with Kemp's decision. Welcome to Donald Trump's re-election strategy, where he is both the government and the fiery opposition to that government. Populism has always fundamentally been a protest movement of outsiders railing against a corrupt elite that runs the country. Right-wing populism, additionally, makes a distinction between the real people and the others, who tend to be foreigners, immigrants, blacks, Jews, and other minorities. Now, this strategy works well when you're out of government. Once you're inside, though, you face a challenge. Politicians who win elections usually try to broaden their base and unify the nation. But populism depends on division and dissatisfaction. In addition, in times of genuine emergency, people sober up. Across the world, many populist parties that frivolously attack the establishment have struggled to make their voices heard. In a pandemic, it turns out, many people want their governments to take an active stance, preferably based on advice from experts. Trump's solution is to play insider and outsider simultaneously. One day he announces a careful plan devised by public health officials that announces a step-by-step process for opening up. The next day he sides with street protesters against governors who are following those very guidelines. It's a complicated dance. You can watch the two Trumps at his press conferences. He begins the session as President Trump, making the day's official pronouncements, reading in a dreary monotone from a script he doesn't appear to have looked at before. And then, from time to time, Donald Trump, the populist icon, suddenly pops up, commenting on his own script. For example, to say, after recommending the use of masks,
"This is voluntary. I don't think I'm going to be doing it."
The Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde routine continues throughout the briefing. As his own health officials take the podium to make some substantive point, Trump will jump in to say something that is at odds with the message they are trying to convey. But Trump seems worried that this dance may not be enough to win him re-election, especially as unemployment mounts. The president has surely noticed that his approval ratings remain roughly where they were before the pandemic, which is astonishing given that crises usually boost presidential approval enormously. So, he has doubled down on the attack strategy against the usual scapegoats, the media and what has become an absurd daily routine, as well as blue state governors, liberal cities, international organizations, and now, of course, most pointedly, China. He's also returning to his favorite target, immigrants. The president's ban on immigrants seeking green cards from coming into the country for 60 days is strange, since the U.S. has already largely halted immigration. But it's not really a policy, it is a political symbol, a reminder to Trump's base that they can always count on him. There is, of course, another path. Donald Trump could have used the crisis to rally the nation around a common foe. He could have provided calm, sensible leadership, stayed on message with his own health officials, and fostered unity rather than division. That's the approach of German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who now has a 79% approval rating. It is the strategy of Emmanuel Macron, who has moved up 10 points in his very polarized country. But it turns out that Donald Trump knows only one dance, call it the populism hustle, and he seems uninterested in learning any other.